It's always been an honor for SITA to be present in these kind of events, supporting Iraq airports and aviation in general. And it's an honor for me personally to be representing SITA in this event. So without further ado, we're going to talk today about the latest technologies in aviation. You know, when we say latest technologies, usually all the buzzwords that we hear in the market comes to mind, like blockchain, artificial intelligence, robotics, drones, the things we heard about yesterday and today. But these are all more or less still projects in R&D. They are still being researched. There's no yet really a compelling use case for the aviation market in general. And most of you know that SITA as an organization, SITA is owned by the industry. So SITA is owned by the airlines, is owned by the airports. And what we usually do whenever we are approaching a new technology is we go and listen to what the industry needs to say. So what we usually do is every year we have kind of an insight survey done with airports and airlines and passengers and different stakeholders in these markets in different geographies in the world, big airports, small airports. So there's a big amount of data and research being available on the SITA website, available for anyone to be downloaded. There are really some very interesting insights. But to focus on the topic of today, which is the latest technologies in aviation, I just took these two results just to kind of put an idea of what our customers are looking for. What are the airports looking for? What are the airlines? So the airlines are in blue and the airports are in purple. I won't go through the numbers, but if you look at the numbers, you can easily see that all the latest and emerging technologies are in there. But if you read behind the numbers, and this is more important, if you read behind the numbers, the focus is not on the technology itself. The focus is on passenger experience, how to enhance that passenger experience while at the same time providing that operational efficiency in airports. So really passenger experience is the focus. You can easily see from an airline's perspective, focus is on biometrics, is on self-service. If you look at from the airport side, biometrics is also on the highest plans of investment for the next 3 years. In addition to other technologies as well, of course, but really the focus is how to enhance that passenger experience. And enhancing the passenger experience at the end of the day is not just making a customer happy, because a passenger today is your customer. A passenger is no longer a guy passing through your airport. It's a customer you want to benefit from. So every airport today is looking to diversify the sources of revenue, increase non-aeronautical revenue, so we can make it easier for airlines to operate in this airport and giving a chance for this airport to expand. We heard yesterday at the panel the challenges the airports are facing. If you listen to them, most of them are financial challenges in addition to, of course, the political environment and all of this. We don't have an influence on the political environment, unfortunately, but of course with technology we can address the other challenges, which is funding these projects. And funding these projects usually comes from an additional or a new source of revenue in these airports. And this is why it's no surprise to see that biometrics and self-service is on high demand, is on the high top agenda of airports and airlines today. So let me start with biometrics. Biometrics is not also just an interesting technology that they are looking at. And I'm so happy that I am representing after G4S, we're talking about security, because biometric is the ultimate answer to finding that balance between facilitation and security. That has always been a challenge and kind of a challenging fact in airports, specifically in airports. So biometric is solving actually the two problems and giving more benefits. Why? So why is a good question. So the idea behind what we did is, why not your face be your boarding pass, right? So find kind of the single token travel. What could replace yourself as an identity your travel documents, passport, boarding pass, bag tag, anything that you can think of documents when you travel, why can't we replace all of this with one single thing? So single token travel, this is the idea behind single token travel. And of course, now that the technology is ready and is affordable, let me say, and is reliable, now we can easily say that your face can be your boarding pass. Your face can be your boarding pass. So what we did a couple of years back in SITA, that was in an R&D program. Now it's a full solution ready to be deployed in any airport. The idea behind that during the R&D program was how to make that solution easy to deploy in airports and simple to use by passengers, and at the same time without telling the airports, you know what, you want to dive into biometrics, you need to refurbish and change everything. No, of course not. So the idea was these airports have all the airports have an existing infrastructure, and they need to leverage on that infrastructure in order to make it happen. So that was in general the idea, and at the same time make it common use so that every single airline can use it with the least effort required from the airlines, so that everybody in that ecosystem inside the airport can be really engaged and ready to use the technology, and everybody will benefit from it. So how it works is really simple. The way it works is a passenger. So imagine the situation, you're arriving at the airport, the first thing you do is check in. If you're already checked in and you don't have a bag to drop, you just simply have your boarding pass on your mobile, you just proceed to passport control usually, and it's done. So the way how the solution works is, no matter where your first touch point in the airport is, at that touch point, what we will do is we'll take that passport, we'll scan that passport, we'll scan that boarding pass, and we compare all the data in the passport and the boarding pass with a live image capture from wherever touch point was. Could be on a mobile, could be on a kiosk, could be on a desk, could be on a backdrop, whatever that is. Once all of this done, then we create what we call a single token travel. And that single token travel usually contains your face, your passport, and your boarding pass. And from that point on, during the journey in the airport, you don't need anything. You can just put away your papers in your bag and just walk hands-free. Just leave your beautiful face ready to be captured whenever you need to. So just to show you a few examples of what we did, we ran the last 1 year and a half, let me say, kind of trial projects. You can see some of them in Muscat Airport, in Doha, in Hamad International Airport, in Australia, more than one airport, in Brisbane, in Melbourne, and in Sabiha International Airport. So you can see the enrollment, the single token creation can be done on a mobile, can be done on a check-in kiosk, can be done on a desk. If somebody don't want to use a self-service, he prefers the human interaction, that enrollment can happen at a desk with a camera and an agent taking care of the transaction. If that passenger is already checked in and has the mobile boarding pass on his mobile, so he can continue directly to drop the bag. So they can go directly on a backdrop, self-service backdrop machine, and drop that bag and do the enrollment at the backdrop machine. So again, back to the same point, make it easy to be used, to not complicate it for the passengers. The whole thing is to enhance the passenger experience, not to complicate things. So whatever the infrastructure is, whether it's a SITA infrastructure or not a SITA infrastructure, it doesn't matter. The solution is developed in a way to be ready to be used. So here you can see SITA backdrop on the far right. In the middle you can see it's not a SITA solution in Brisbane. And on the far left, this is also not a SITA solution in Doha. So whatever that is, once we reach to the security point, again, now a single token is created. The passenger just look at the camera. If we need to see the boarding pass, all of this is done in the background, and the door opens and the passenger continues. Same for passport control. For passport control, the passenger who shows up at a self-service gate or a tunnel. Now a lot of airports are exploring tunnels now, so there's no even gates because the technology is ready. all of that, we just need a picture of your face, and we'll send the passport in the background to the government authorities so they can do all your exit entry, all the stuff. Going through these tests, there was also something else very interesting. So once that, again, thinking passenger experience. So we did a couple of other two interesting projects. One of them is in Qantas, where the passenger, before going inside the VIP lounge, he looks at the camera, and while looking at the camera, we already sent the information to the VIP lounge staff. So, and by the time, if you notice, there's an escalator behind the camera. By the time the passenger reaches the desk, he is immediately, or she is immediately greeted by the name, and they already know if that passenger is a gold member, a silver member. So imagine the passenger experience. You're showing up at a desk, immediately you're greeted. For example, Mr. Ali arriving to the VIP lounge, he will be immediately greeted. Good morning, Mr. Ali, you're flying to Dubai. You're a gold member, we would like to welcome you to the VIP lounge. Your flight leaves in 10 minutes. He didn't even speak yet. He didn't say good morning yet. And the agent knows everything about him. So this is kind of the passenger experience aspect out of it. At boarding gates, also, it's as simple as it can be. The passenger just looks at the camera and board. The process takes 4 seconds. So imagine the passenger experience. There's no queues. Absolutely no queues, and at the same time, you're boarding an aircraft way faster than using an agent or a traditional boarding experience. So as I said in the beginning, it's a passenger experience focused. It's a solution designed to leverage the existing infrastructure. So what we're going to see now, we're going to see a video from Hamad International Airport where 3 VPs from the airports were interviewed about the solution, and you'll see the process at the same time. You will notice, so there is the VP of IT, so you'll hear the opinion from an IT angle. You have the VP of operations, so you will hear also the benefits of such a solution from operations, pure operations perspective. And there's another VP coming from the airline, from Qatar Airways, and he's the VP of customer experience, telling his view of this. So it's really an interesting video. I'll leave you with it. It's a 3 or 4 minutes video.
Growing air traffic puts significant pressure on airport capacity and security. Biometrics and self-service automation help airports to achieve a faster throughput of passengers and create a seamless travel experience.
Providing a walk-through frictionless experience with real-time, proactive and personalized information is a key part of our digital strategy. This directly supports our strategic objective of enhancing passenger experience by limiting the stress during their travel, so that they can enjoy their time really, enjoying our beautiful facilities, shopping, dining, or just simply relaxing. And we see biometric identity management as a key enabling technology to help us achieve several of these objectives.
So when we talk about biometrics for customers, it means speed, it means efficiency, and it means choice. So with biometrics, there's no longer any manual processes to have verification of who I am, where I am, my identity. It can all be done seamlessly through biometric verification. It also means no queues. So for service, it means that there's no queues any longer for either checking in or dropping off my bags, or even potentially through the other touch points like boarding. It also means the customer has choice. So with biometrics, the customer can come in and they can choose full service if they want to speak to one of our agents, or they can choose the self-service option with no queues and to self-serve through the process.
You got the idea behind it. So it's all about giving more options, more choice to the passenger, and enhancing that customer experience. So at the end of the day, passengers are happy. They have more time in where you want them to be, in the duty-free area, in the retail area, in the food and beverage area. And you know what they say, a happy passenger spends more money. And this is what you want. So leave that passenger happy in the duty-free area and give him more time. Most likely, he'll be spending more money, so you can benefit from that additional revenue and do all these future expansions you are planning for. So this is the whole idea. Now, keeping that in mind, now that we have this mass of passengers inside the airport and in a big area, which is the duty-free area, the retail area, you want to benefit from that situation the maximum you can. So in order to benefit from that situation, you need to know where these passengers are in that big area. So you need to keep track of these passengers where they are, learn more about how they are moving, how the behavior of these passengers. This is why we looked into another technology, and we looked at the latest technology, which is the LiDAR technology. It's a laser-based technology where you can track the flow of passengers, you can track queues in the airport, and the benefit out of this technology is that you can do that in real time. And the amount of data you capture is way, way higher than the standard traditional cameras and Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all these existing technologies we have today. So the LiDAR technology is a very precise technology. It gives you up to 10 centimeters accuracy in the terminal, imagine, of where your passengers are and in real time. And what you can do with this technology eventually is capture the information that you need, which is the behavior of your passengers. Where are your passengers spending more time? And you get that data in a very simple, easy way to see, and most importantly, to share, because you need to share that information with your concessionaires, your duty-free, your food and beverage. You share that information with them, and believe me, they will know very well what to do with that, because they will know if every Wednesday in the afternoon, all the mass of passengers are going into a specific direction, they will change the display of whatever they need to sell based on that destination where these passengers are going. And this is the type of technology that will help you to share with them this information. Passengers going to Moscow are interested in different aspects than passengers going to Lebanon. So they are interested in buying other stuff. So you can customize the layout, etc., etc. I won't go into details. There are a million things to do. You guys know better than anybody else how to treat this information. And this is the type of data that will complete the picture. Now, to complete the puzzle completely is you have that passenger happily processed quickly, spent more money, and you want that passenger to leave happy as well. Right? So just to complete the puzzle, you need to make sure that that flight is leaving on time. To make sure that that flight is leaving on time, there's a lot of hidden soldiers in airports that work in the background that nobody sees them. As passengers, we don't see them. These are the people that do all the planning, all the assigning resources, making sure that aircraft is fueled on time, is cleaned on time, catering service is done on time, all these things that gone in the background that passengers don't see. And we saw a lot of people today getting certifications. These are the people really doing the hard work in the background to keep things moving really in a very organized manner. And this is where I want to introduce also another innovation from SITA in this domain. Right? So what we did with airport operations, we changed the concept of operations completely. We changed it in a way that we don't look at airport operations in the traditional way we used to look at 5 or 6 years ago. Right? So what we used to do before is just make sure that we have all the database of the flights and look at where the problems are and solve them. Yeah, that doesn't work anymore. That doesn't work anymore. We have air traffic growth in a way that we cannot keep doing things the traditional way. So we need to do things differently. And the big innovation we did here is the first pillar that I'm going to talk about is driving business results. So today in the new SITA tools, how to manage airports, you can see that you can set business KPIs. You can put business KPIs in front of you and not just normal airport operations. You can have in front of you an action board, and I will go through that in a second, where you can see how you can manage the airport while focusing on the problems. You don't need to look at everything and find the problem to solve it. This is old school. This is the reactive way of managing an airport. We need to be proactive, and we need to be able to plan better for the future. So this is what we mean by focusing on the problem and managing the problem, and I'll show you in a second exactly what I mean. The other important thing is collaboration. Today, we have a lot of stakeholders in the airport. We have the airport operator, we have the airlines, we have the ground handlers, traffic control, ramp control, catering. All these people today, their life is getting more complicated because they have more things to do. Traffic is going up. The resources are still the same. And in order to do things properly, people should share information more than ever. Without sharing information, they cannot continue doing their job with the same resources they have. So what they usually need to do is, the solution, how SITA designed it, is everybody must read in the same book. By everybody reading in the same book, looking at the same information, looking at the same data, they all at least know that there's one single point of truth where they can build their decision on. So they are all building a decision on the same data, not operating in complete silos. And at the end, the agility. By agility, we mean that the solution is today very easy to use. It can be used from a mobile. It could be used anywhere on the ramp, even on your smartwatch, even on your tablet. So anybody in the airport today can take an action and can be informed of what they need to do. Let's take a closer look. So the solution by itself, again, it changed completely. If you saw the SITA solution 5-6 years ago, it's completely different. What we are looking at now is a complete new platform, a huge airport operations platform, and on that platform, all these blocks, I won't go through the details, of course, but all these blocks are just plug and play modules. So for big airports, of course, big airports will need a lot of AODB, a lot of CDM tools, airport collaborative decision-making, resource management, human resource management, runway optimization, complex integration using enterprise service bus type of integration, etc., etc. Whereas small airports will need to focus more on the basic stuff. They just need an AODB, a billing and a reporting model, and a couple of interfaces. So this is the type of solution that will be scalable for, we're talking about 180 million passengers like Istanbul Grand Airport, which is using this system, or it can be really a small airport like in Lome in Africa, where we don't have even 300,000 passengers a year, and they are benefiting from the system. So it's really scalable up to the size of the airports itself. So this is what I meant by agility. By agility, we mean that users today, instead of looking at a big list of 10,000 flights and trying to find the problem, what they can do is they can have what we call an action board. And why we call it an action board? Because it's an active dashboard. It's really very, very useful the way it's configured. So every user can configure KPIs, and these KPIs operates like small buttons. Yeah, they will configure the KPI that usually make them do something. So instead of looking for a problem, they can focus on the problem exactly when it happens. And the dashboard is active by itself, where the KPI itself is actionable. So once the user click on it, they will go directly to where the problem is, and et cetera, et cetera. So this is how things work. I won't dwell too much on the technical part of the solution, but on the RMS side, this is another area where, when we talk about collaboration, it's the same platform using the same database where you can manage your fixed resources like stand, gates, etc., all what you can think of, baggage carousel. Again, and it's the same platform as well to be used by human resource management system for ground handlers. So all these people on the ramp, all these people doing the cleaning, all these people driving the buses, driving the fueling trucks, etc., etc. Everybody is looking at the same database. Everybody is reading in the same book, right? So this is the huge benefit out of having a single point of truth in your airport when it comes to flight operations. So just to close, one last slide is really just to show you how SITA looks at it. SITA looks at it from the bigger picture, and this is the big change that happened in the SITA portfolio when it comes to airport operations. Today, we have all the flight operations, whether it's terminal, it's airside, or it's landside. whether it's ground services, whether it's, you name it, runway departure management, et cetera, all of this is managed through the airport management solution I just showed you, right? But this is not the airport, this is just managing the flights. In order to complete the picture, we have also the baggage operations, we have the common use operations, all the check-in, the kiosks, baggage reconciliation system, anything you can think of. You have the passenger flow we talked about, queue management, and you cannot forget social media. Today, one tweet can ruin the reputation for your airport for 1 year. It will take you to clean it up. So you need to keep track of flights and at the same time, keep track of what's happening on the other side of the airport as well, which is baggage and passenger and social media and what are people saying outside the airport. For that, SITA created a business intelligence platform layer that sits on top of all of this, where your user, your operator at the airport can correlate today. If something happens, they will have exactly a view on the flight data of what happened. They can relate that to something happened on baggage. When I say baggage, I mean word tracer as well. So if there's lost baggage, they will be informed as well, etc. So they can link an incident to flight, to passenger data, to baggage data, social media, if there are tweets at this moment. So you can correlate all of this data together and you can reach a better decision on what you need to do next. But if we think airport management, this is not everything, right? To complete the picture, we need to complete really the picture of the whole airport. So we still have the security, so CCTV, access control, you name it, all the security solutions you have, and of course, the facility itself, the building management system, the power, all the low voltage, all the chiller, the air conditioning, etc. So you need to complete the full picture, you need that as well. And for SITA, to complete the full picture, what we did is we came up with the latest item in this category, which is an airport integrated control center, right? It's not a terminal operation control center like it's the case in most of the airport. No, it's more of an airport integrated control center, taking into consideration all of the elements inside the airport. It's really airport. We're no longer looking at just a terminal. So it's the full airport. It's a full vision. And it's not just a technology. So this is type of solution where we have technology and we have also a new concept of operations. Yeah? Let me call it. It's a new standard operating procedures specifically dedicated to an airport integrated control center. So they will know what to do in each and every specific situation in this environment. They will learn how to collaborate together. The solution is a combination of the tools, how to share and how to communicate, and at the same time, the operations side of it. So this is really representing the vision of how SITA is looking at operations in airport. It's really what we all hear in the market, the total airport management system. This is real total airport management system, looking at every angle in the airport, from flight to passenger to baggage to facility management to all the way to social media, you name it, anything in the airport should be looked at. So this is the vision, and this is where I will close my session for today. So thank you very much for listening, and again, thank you, Mr. Ali, for inviting us again, and thank you very much.